Joining me live is the Assistant Treasurer and Minister for Financial Services, Stephen Jones. Before we get to that Jobs Summit, which I think is going to be one of the more important meetings of the year, you are heading to the Pacific Islands this afternoon. Labor is certainly throwing more money at the region. What is the intention here? Are you trying to outspend and out-charm China?
Well, we know that we're never going to be able to outspend China, but what we do know is that it is in our national interest to ensure that we are the partner and the partner of choice in the Pacific Islands. We do that on the basis of shared values, but we also do that on the basis of shared interests. There's not a region in the world that's got a greater interest or a greater stake in us ensuring that we deal with the challenges of climate change by reducing our carbon emissions and by ensuring that we can build more resilience into our infrastructure in our nation. These are shared challenges, and the Prime Minister, together with his colleagues in the Pacific Island regions, set the challenge in their leaders' meeting around net zero by 2050. And it falls to all the other ministers and the other ministerial forums to do the work to ensure that we can meet those challenges no less than in the area of finance and financial management.
I mean, it was pretty positive when Labor won government. The relationship looked like a reset with China, but that's deteriorated pretty quickly. Do you agree?
Yeah, look, our number one challenge over the coming days is my number one challenge is ensuring that we have a good meeting in the Pacific Island at the Pacific Island Finance Ministers Forum. These other issues we will see through. I think the comments by the Foreign Minister reflect the concerns and the views of the entire nation over Taiwan, and that is that we don't want to see any escalation around these issues. We do have differences, and we can't gloss over the differences, but we need dialogue and we need understanding, and we need to dial down the risk of misunderstandings in the region. So bring down the tensions, not heighten them, and that's a responsibility of all of us to do. And the utterances I make on TV, in interviews like this, Laura, but also in the disposition we take to our international forums.
Indeed. Let's talk about the CBA now. $10 billion cash profit, well, 9.6 to be more accurate. Is that where our increased mortgage payments are going, directly to shareholders?
Well, if you have a look at what underlies the CBA performance in a low interest rate environment, there are a lot of people out there either extending their mortgages or getting into their first home or buying a new home, and a lot of businesses doing exactly what the economic plan wanted them to do, and that is to get out there and start investing in new plant and equipment and new enterprise and innovation. They're borrowing money from somewhere, and the CBA's got a huge slice of the mortgage market and a significant slice of the business market, and most of that increase in profit is a reflection of that.
Sure, but is there a greater responsibility? Or how does the CBA weigh it up? I mean, it's great to have a profit for shareholders, but the RBA is trying to get inflation down and it's mortgage holders being squeezed in the middle.
Yeah, look, I think the question goes to what's the responsibilities of the banks when they're posting these big profits. And yes, we want them to be lending, and there's an interest margin and they're entitled to make a profit, a reasonable profit on their business activities and lending to households and to businesses. But we want to ensure they got the balance right. Excessive profits or business strategies which are designed to not pass on relatively quickly the interest rate rises to savers, to deposit holders in their banks, and try and increase the margins that they're getting off their interest. These are things that the public rightly has questions to ask of our banks. We want to ensure that in an environment where rates are increasing, and that is imposing additional pain on businesses and mortgage holders, that they're not going up 1% more than they need to, but also on the other side of the equation that the benefits of those interest rate rises are being passed on to savers, to deposit holders, often retirees living on the interest earned off their fixed term deposits. We want to ensure that the banks are passing that on, CBA and others.